Now that sounds more like a noise you made when you kicked the bucket. Right then, on to the next game. Sure, this one will be fine. There won't be any moral conundrums to try to unravel, and oh my sweet Jesus. Moonwalker is very much a game that needs context, but even then this game barely makes sense. A video game that looks to be based on the Smooth Criminal music video, done in a shinobi style where Michael Jackson goes about rescuing small kids, kicking chairs at baddies, and occasionally making everyone, including dogs, dance until they die. The game is based on the film Moonwalker, an anthology-style film of several Jackson music videos loosely tied together with story threads of MJ's struggles with fame, and also saving kids from an evil drug lord played by Joe Pesci, which he does by changing into a giant robot. It is a piece of work that can only be made when an artist gets so big that no one says no to them, taking the short film style of the Thriller music video and taking it to the very extreme. It's also the point where the wheels started to fall off the Michael Jackson bandwagon, where MJ the artist began to be overtaken by MJ the tabloid fodder. But let's focus on the game. MJ had a long connection to Sega, from visiting their offices during a tour of Japan to, allegedly, creating part of the Sonic 3 soundtrack, so a collaboration between the two makes sense. There was a separate arcade version which was done in an isometric style, not like this shinobi style game we have here. It looks decent enough for an early Mega Drive game. Graphics get 83%, pointing out that Jackson even enters lifts in a cool fashion, which is a bit of a weird thing to point out if we're honest. Unless it's a really deep cut reference to Shinobi somewhat ripping off elevator action, who knows. Hi, it's Phil from the editing room. Well, after the editing room, delivering the cassette to the distributors and realising there's a mistake on it. This bit here where I say about a joke about Moonwalker being like based off elevator action because of Shinobi and that sort of stuff, I got the wrong game. See, Shinobi was part of that back and forth with Namco Sega had in the 80s, and they were responding to Rolling Thunder. That was the Namco game that came out first, and then Shinobi was like, you know, knockoff better version or whatever, you know, it was just their version of Rolling Thunder. So Rolling Thunder is the game I should be referring to here. However, that doesn't work with the joke that's in the review. So yeah, rather than rewriting the entire that part of the review, I'd say entire, like a paragraph, but rather than trying to do anything with that, I just thought I'd do this and just kind of freeze my moment of idiocy in amber forever for all of you to view. Yeah, that's all I've got. So we'll just carry on with the rest of it, and please try to ignore that. And in the future, I might go back and double check my work when I write something, but probably not, because, you know, it's more fun realising the mistakes afterwards and doing this, isn't it? It's much easier, much more fun. Jazz's review focuses in on the game being too easy. 65% is what laughability ends on. Overall is 71%. And a central purchase for Jackson groupies. Oh, that bit didn't age well. And a decent enough game in its own right. Which is about right, I guess. I don't know, it all feels a bit empty to me. The boxing over the other side puts the responsiveness as brill, which I definitely can't agree with. So I think this averages out as a maybe. It's just overall just such a weird game.